look, I am so happy that I get a chance to have this conversation with Elaine. I mean, this sister is just bad. She's bad. She's a New York Times bestselling author, award-winning journalist. She's been a judge on the new Project Runway. I mean, she messed with Michelle Obama. She's just bad. So I want to talk to you about this moment. It's just been such a mix of inspiring protests and killings and stuff like that. Talk to us about your range of emotion over this past period of what I call this great awakening around justice.
It's been really heavy. It's been really emotional.
I just realized that it's 2 a.m. and Mom fell asleep on the couch.
For Black people in America, right? We have been grieving for a long time around these same kinds of senseless murders. I wrote about, Philando Castile's murder, which really represents in my book. And I wrote about it from the perspective of being one of very few Black people in the office at the time, when I was so devastated. So it was so hard to get out of bed that morning, let alone proceed as business as usual. And I wrote about what it was like coming into the office that day, expecting or anticipating that other people might be feeling some of what I was feeling, just as humans, as feeling, thinking humans, and feeling like everyone was able to move on like business as usual. It feels so relevant once again now, thinking, 4 years later, here we are again. But the difference is that the response from the rest of the community, folks who are non-Black, are finally seeing this moment as a wake-up call to get off the sidelines and to get involved and invested in this fight for justice. So I can say that since being in the streets and attending a number of protests, there is something different in the air this time. There are a lot of emotions I think we're all moving through, or trying to move through, to get towards the collective action that we all need to take. There is so much work for all of us. So I think we're all feeling that pressure, we're feeling that weight, but I think we're also feeling empowered that this time has to be different. It has to be different.
You've been on this. I mean, you really have been not just an inspiration, but you've been offering really education to a whole new generation through Teen Vogue. And you were doing it when it was, now it's trendy, now it's popular, but you were doing it when it wasn't trendy, when it was kind of shocking to see Teen Vogue taking on these issues. Why did you make that choice? Because you're saying other people now are going to have to make similar choices to be a little bit more brave and bold, but you were doing it when it wasn't cool. Why? And talk about that.
By speaking just about fashion, we were ignoring the range of interests that were central to them, the issues that mattered to them in the world. And so we made sure that we were creating more of an intersectional feminist focus, and that included fashion and pop culture, but that also spoke to intersectional feminism and social justice issues. Black Lives Matter. You're right that there was no model for success for that at the time. There were a lot of people that were like, "Oh, Teen Vogue, talk about politics and justice issues," and we got pushback. Folks thought it wasn't our place to do that, but the reality is that young people have been at the forefront of social justice issues for generations. It was certainly, I won't say scary, but there was an uncertainty about how it would pan out, but we knew that we had to do the right thing, and we felt we had to be a part of the right side of history. And I'm very proud to say that we have been, and I'm so proud of the team there that's leading that charge today. But you're right in that I think a lot of companies are now confronting that same reckoning of, what do we mean now? How do we mean more to our community? How do we right size to make sure that we're meeting this moment, and that we are on the right side, and that we are better serving our community and our audience, our consumers.
Well, let's talk about that, though, because you can actually give some advice to people who are working at these brands, whether they're at the top or whether they're the intern. These brands are going to now have to do some of what you've already done. I mean, when you're a pioneer, that means you've done that. To get relevant and to catch up with this moment.
So there's 3 steps I would say that any individual brand or a corporation can follow. First of all, you have to take inventory of where you are. You can't be a part of a solution if you don't recognize how you are part of the problem.
Oh, you better preach. Can you say that one more time? Just preach.
I think like nobody wants to say they're racist. Nobody wants to I raise their hand and say, I haven't done my part here, or I recognize that I could do better. And so it's, I think, important to just acknowledge what you play, what part have you been playing in this, and take inventory. What does the complexion of your newsroom look like? Who's in your boardroom? Who has those board seats? And let's look at every level of management, all the way down to the the intern level. Take an honest assessment of where we are. And I don't mean looking at your company. And so